we'll start at the top of the Premier League, where it's a three-horse race. Arsenal and Liverpool even on points. Arsenal with the advantage on goal difference. City 1 point back with 7 games to go. All three at home this weekend. Arsenal home against Villa on Sunday. Liverpool home against Crystal Palace on Sunday. City home against Luton Town on Saturday. For more on this, let's welcome in our very own former Arsenal player. He is, of course, Kieran Gibbs. Kieran, great to have you with us. How confident are you that we're going to get Premier League Arsenal Sunday against Aston Villa as opposed to Champions League Arsenal that we saw against Bayern Munich?
I'm pretty confident. I mean, listen, as good as Aston Villa have been and can be, it's just really difficult to see anything other than 3 points for Arsenal at the minute in the league. They are really in the zone. They got a firm grip on their form. Villa have come off the boil a little bit as well. They're going to miss big players, Douglas Luiz, Kamara. You know, I do think Watkins and I think McGinn's back as well, which is a plus for Villa. They love these type of games where they can cause upset and stir up some trouble. And of course, Emre will be gunning to get a result. And obviously, you know, by no means it's going to be easy, but I think Arsenal are just in a certain type of mood at the moment. With 7 games to go, they've only conceded 4 goals in 11 games. Villa have had less rest. And, you know, I feel like playing last this weekend will benefit them as well, because there's probably a good chance that they'll be third going into the game. And I like them in that position where they're chasing the leaders. So I'm pretty confident.
What's the biggest worry, Craig, for Arsenal Sunday against Villa?
Sloppiness. Maybe a bit we saw in the Bayern game and in the 2 games against Porto. Maybe taking the foot off the gas a little bit, which I can't see happening. But other than that, you know, Villa were 2-0 up at home to Brentford and then had to battle back after being, I think, 3-2 down. They got walloped off Man City at the Etihad, albeit they made some changes in that game. So they have been a little bit off colour recently. They're in a big fight with Tottenham for this 4th spot. Look, 5th might get it done, but who cares? They're battling for 4th. And as Kieran said, Arsenal have been, Premier League-wise, have been great. Been rock solid. Defensively, have been solid. You know, they've got the balance right in the middle of the park. The front guys have hit a bit of form. Again, he's been able to make some changes, whether it be Gabriel Jesus playing, or Martinelli playing, or Trossard coming in, or Smith Rowe coming in. He's been able to make those changes. So barring the pressure getting to them, we're at that stage of the season, there is a big opportunity here to get over another big hurdle, because that's where we're at. We were just talking before we came on air about the Championship in Leicester City. They were almost having the open top bus in January and February. The league was done, 10 points plus clear, and now they can't win a game because it's the business end of the season, and that's where Arsenal are. Let's see if they learn from it from last year.
Yeah, to me, that's the big question.
They haven't got the injuries that they had last year. Don't forget they lost Saliba.
Yep.
Like Rob Holding came in and Partey was out. They don't have those injuries thus far. So they are primed and ready for this run-in.
Why the difference, Kasey, between what we've seen from Arsenal in the Premier League and what we saw in the Champions League against Bayern? And does it have any effect come Sunday?
I think I agree with the hangover side of things. That yes, that was a tough match in Champions League against a side that is having their own issues, obviously. But I think good teams can find ways to
Compartmentalize?
Compartmentalize.
I never go there.
Easy for you to say.
I never go there.
But to be able to say, okay, this is the form, the confidence, particularly at home against a side that is struggling in Aston Villa. Not struggling, but isn't at the form that they were in at the beginning of the season. Now, the issue is, I agree. I think it could be also a case where you're overlooking this. You're thinking, okay, we had a little bit of a blip in Champions League. We're at home against a team that isn't playing as well as they were at the beginning of the year. Yeah, we'll come out and cruise this. They have to get the mentality right from the very start, or it can be something that could come back to bite them. But I don't see it happening.
I'm a little surprised that people find it a surprise that why can't you take your Premier League form into this stage of the Champions League? And it's relatively simple. Whether we think Bayern are a good team at the moment and having a great season, which they are not.
And we've sat on this desk and talked about how bad they are quite a bit.
16 points behind Leverkusen, throwing away leads at Heidenheim, going out the Pokel to lower tier opposition, dropping your two centre halves and bringing in De Ligt and Eric Dyer and making all these changes. We can talk about all that, but at the end of the day,
manager already gone.
That decision has been made, and we can agree or disagree whether he should have gone at the time and whether that's helped. But people have to understand, even a bad Bayern side is better than the Villas, the Tottenhams, the Newcastles, the West Hams. So when you're dismantling teams in the Champions, in domestic football, and I'm not saying it's easy, it is not. But those teams haven't got the nous, even with the likes of Porto. So it is a step up going into the Champions League. Even if you think, Bayern, playing poorly, Porto, we should just beat them. These teams have got a little bit about them. They've got more about them than the bulk of the teams in the Premier League. The bulk of the teams. That's why they're in the Champions League.
And it's a little different style, and it's a little different pace to the game. And it's... There's a reason why you're Bayern Munich, and there's a reason why you're playing at Bayern Munich. And on the day when league isn't going that well, and everything's then focused on a singular match, on a singular competition, it's a quality group of players that aren't playing really well as a team consistently, but on their day, they're as good as anybody in Europe.
Kieran, take us back to your playing days. Was it easy, as Kasey says, to compartmentalize what was happening in the Champions League versus the Premier League?
I mean, it depends how well you're doing in each competition. There were some seasons where we would have a great run in the Champions League, but we were doing terrible in the league, and then the other way around. But I think it can be difficult depending on who you're playing, what the running looks like. But I think for me right now, Mikel's focus is clearly going to be, I don't know, but I'm going to say it's going to be on the league. The Champions League would be special to win, obviously, but, the league is something that, has been a long time coming. We've been so close over the last couple of seasons, 7 games away. You're thinking he's got his eyes on the league. So I think, he said in his press conference the other day, he said that the only way to do it is to take it game by game. And, that is the only way to do it at this stage of the season, because the games just come around before you know it. And it almost feels like when you get to this stage of the season, you're at that time where you're so locked in that it doesn't matter what competition it is. You just got to, recover, get your body right, get your mind right, and just get it ready for the next game.
The league's the big one for them, isn't it?
You agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Champions League would be history too?
Oh, no. Listen, we're getting greedy here. Arsenal haven't won the Champions League in their history.
That's what I'm saying.
And they haven't won the Premier League for the best part of 20 years or whatever it is. And let's not forget the Liverpool story was 30 years or thereabouts, and how big it was for them after all their success domestically and in Europe over the years. It was such a long wait. You're going head-to-head for 38 games against the best team in Europe and Liverpool, who are having a little stumble as well. But you're basically going head-to-head. It's a 3-horse race, and one of the teams that's in there is currently, until they're toppled, is the best team in Europe in Man City. That's where you're going to judge yourself. The league is the big one for them. They were so close last year. They were going so well until some of the dominoes started to fall for them. But they manoeuvred themselves after that draw at the Etihad, which was debatable at the time. Was it the right tactics? Was it not? Defensively brilliant. Not great attacking. Was a point good enough? At the moment, the answer is yes. And they've manoeuvred themselves into a very, very good position. And it's now up to them.
There's obviously a long way to go, but there's now starting to be a discussion about just how good kind of historically this Arsenal team could be if they bring home some of these trophies, right? Kieran, Premier League obviously still out there, Champions League still out there. To be considered among the best ever Arsenal teams, what do they need to do? Do they need to win both to be considered the best ever?
Oof, the best ever. You're asking a lot to top the the Invincibles.
Winning the Premier League and winning the Champions League is a lot, isn't it?
It would be an incredible achievement, and you would have to say it's up there, especially with the talent of the other teams now. I don't know. I think definitely the best team of the Emirates era, hands down. Even if they win one, you have to say, and there have been some pretty decent teams in the Emirates era. This team, they have the clearest identity. They managed to keep most players, a lot of players fit, which was a problem over the era of the last 10, 15 years, which I think, makes a big difference. And they have a ruthlessness about them. They've gone into the market. They haven't been shy. They've spent the money. They've gone and got themselves a young manager who's a visionary. I'm going to say he's a visionary. And yeah, they deserve something this season for sure.
Let's not get carried away.
How realistic do you think it is that they could win both? I mean, they're right there.
I don't know. Let me just climb off all this pie in the sky stuff we're just talking about now.
I mean, they're on the verge of a historic season. You can't deny that.
They have achieved so far this season diddly squat.
Everybody other than whoever's won the
Has somebody already made a thumbnail for our YouTube channel, and they're trying to sort of shoehorn this part of this segment in about how great this Arsenal team could be compared to the rest? Give it time.
They're top of the league, and they're in the semis.
Have you come up with this?
Close to it.
I tell you what. When you're in the producers, this is what happens when people. Let me tell you. This is what happens when people get too much time in their hands, right? Sitting there, twiddling your thumbs in your underpants, and thinking, "Oh,
what do you know about my underpants?"
Well, thankfully not a lot. They've still got to achieve what they have to achieve. This is classic stuff. We're already away comparing them with the Invincibles and all these great teams. They've got to go and do it yet.
Yeah, I think that's the key. I think the key is
I'm off.
Can they be the best team ever? Yes, they can be by having to win the league and having to win Champions League in the same year. And then after that, continue on. But you can't be... They put themselves in a position, but you can't be in those conversations until you actually do it. And we haven't seen them do it yet. So, but they've put themselves into a point where they could, but it's a huge ask.
Come on.
Trophies to
Don't hand the money out when you're gambling on a horse when it's not even jumped the final hurdle. Right?
Thank you for that.
10 years on this show in the US. I'm not having this fluff nonsense anymore. Don't even mention Mbappe to me.
I don't know anything about Mbappe. You played against the Invincibles.
Yes.
Yes, so you know that team. Forget the trophy comparison or whatever. Like eyeball test, is there a comparison?
Well, I mean, I think if we look at the eyeball test from that team, and you're looking at Thierry Henry, Bergkamp, Vieira, Petit, the list goes on, right?
I just want to wind him up a little more.
So yes, that was I mean, there's a group that had done it. World Cup winners, it goes on.
I wished I hadn't come in today.
Yeah, well.
I mean, sincerely wished I hadn't come in today.
Do you know you're not the only one?
Why is that?
Wishes you didn't come in today?
I don't mind. I'll go now. I've always said.
Oh, you always threaten it.
No, but I always say, if somebody says in my ear, you go.
Okay.
It'd be better without you go. I'll go.
Will you whisper in his ear?
Stop. You compare. He's just rattled off all the names. Oh my God!
And I didn't even get to the defense.
What are we smoking around here?
That were so consistently good defensively for years.
I can't wait till Arsenal win the league and Champions League.
Well, that's fine. We'll have a.
Then we'll praise them.
You're right. Let's never speculate about what might happen in the future on this show.
Oh, let's just have a wild.
We're gonna have a pretty thin A block then.
Oh, this is wild speculation.
Arsenal, Aston Villa then on Sunday. Manchester
the world
City.
champ, the best in the world. Arsenal.
Burley.
The best ever in the history.
What, Kieran?
Saliba or Tony Adams?
Don't you even start, Kieran. Don't you even start.